Hello and welcome into Good Evening KU. I'm Jordan Ziegler.
I'm Caleb Kalsich.
This is our first show coming back from spring break. Caleb, how was your spring break?
It was good. It was a nice break from school. How was yours?
It was good. Went to Florida, got some sun. Kind of not great weather to be back, but we're okay with that. We've got a lot of fun stuff in store for you. Obviously, March Madness in the full swing of things. We're down to the Sweet 16. We have Landon and Liam talking about who they think is going to win the national championship this year. I personally would just like to say my national champion is still alive, the UConn Huskies, so I'm excited about that. Caleb, how's the bracket doing?
Mine is not. It's not good. It's not good. We should not talk about my bracket at all.
I was looking at his Final Four earlier, and
three of the teams are gone.
It really is not good. He is not exaggerating. He had Purdue and Marquette playing each other in the Elite Eight, so that's really all you need to know about that. A huge weekend in KU sports. Obviously, unfortunately, the men did lose to Arkansas in the round of 32, so their season is done. But the women's team in the WINT is down to 16 teams left. They've beaten Mizzou and Western Kentucky, so we're going to have a recap on what they've done this weekend. And we're also going to come at you with a little bit of a weather report, so we have an exciting show. But first off, Caleb and I are going to get you started. We're going to talk about the World Baseball Classic. The final is tonight, and Caleb, this might be the most watched baseball game of all time.
No, I mean, it's been one of the most watched tournaments the World Baseball Classic has ever put on. I don't think many expected this viewership turnout, but it's been really, really fun to watch.
And speaking of watching, like, how much have you kept up with it? Like, have you been watching every game or just like the U.S.?
I've watched all the U.S. games. Some of the other games are either really early in the morning or late at night. But if it's on and I'm awake, I watched it. So I've watched quite a bit. Watched the Mexico-Japan game last night.
Oh goodness,
which
what
was
a
great.
game!
It was
what
a great
a
game.
Baseball game.
So yeah, I've been catching up with it.
Yeah, touching back up on that Mexico-Japan game. Mexico was up 3-0 most of the game. Japan came back and tied it, then relinquished the lead. They were down 4-3 heading into the ninth, and Japan came back, won it, walk-off double. Just one of the best baseball games I've ever seen.
It was great.
Randy Arozarena, he is an absolute star. We should mention that. He had the tournament of his life for Mexico and made one of the best catches I've ever seen last night. Of course, Shohei Ohtani, though, it's ridiculous.
It is.
It is absolutely ridiculous what Shohei Ohtani can do on a baseball field. Pitching, hitting, I mean, you got to deal with him tonight.
Potentially. It's a shame that he's on the Angels. We never get to see it.
Not for long.
That's true. Maybe not for long. But yeah, U.S. probably has to be worried about facing him on the mound tonight. I think I did see he was available to pitch. So that could be a problem late in the game. He's obviously not starting, but something for U.S. to look out for.
Yeah, and one thing in the pitching aspect for the U.S. to look out for, Merrill Kelly is starting on the mound for the United States of America. If you don't know who that is, it's because he's a back-end rotation pitcher for the Diamondbacks. So, you know, it's a little bit questionable what the U.S. has going on pitching-wise, but we know what they can do on offense. Line up Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, Paul Goldschmidt. That's your first three hitters in the order. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's one of the best, like, first three, like, that can exist.
I mean, the last two games for the U.S. have been great offensively. Obviously, the game against Cuba, they lit up the scoreboard. Venezuela, they had to come back a little bit. It was a great back-and-forth game, but other than that, you know, their offense was okay in the group stage. Obviously, lost to Mexico. That was not a good game for them. But they found their groove at the right time for this tournament.
Yeah, they definitely figured it out. One player that's really figured it out and is going to be huge tonight for the U.S. if they want to win this game, Trey Turner.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness gracious. He's slugging 1,000%.
Incredible.
He's slugging, not OPS, but just straight up slugging 1,000 on the tournament. He has 4 home runs and 7 hits, which is ridiculous. An isolated power average of 632, which is just a number that shouldn't exist in a baseball score sheet ever. So Trey Turner, although he's batting near the bottom of the order for the United States, which he has been all tournament, is going to be a crucial offensive factor if the U.S. wants to win the WBC for back-to-back championships.
Oh, no doubt. He's the reason they won against Venezuela. And, I mean, probably against Cuba, too. He started the home run party they had against Cuba, so he is a very key piece of the U.S. lineup.
Yeah, and the World Baseball Classic final is on right now. I know I'm going to go and watch it when this show is over, but we have more exciting stuff coming up for you. After the break, Landon and Liam are going to tell you who they think is going to win the national championship.
Welcome back to Good Evening KU Sports, as we will break down our national champion predictions based on the Sweet 16 teams that are left in the tournament. Liam, lots has happened, lots of upsets. 2 number 1 seeds down, unfortunately. KU taking that L this past Saturday against Arkansas. Lots of madness going on. Thoughts on what you see happening here? Maybe some surprise teams that have came up that could make a run as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was really tough to see the Jayhawks lose. I mean, that's always so sad, especially in the month of March when the Jayhawks lose. I think a lot of people had some pretty high expectations for them this tournament. I mean, I know some friends and some people had them losing in the Sweet 16 to a team like UConn, but I'm not so sure everyone was expecting them to lose in the round of 32. So it's pretty tough there. But, I mean, we saw Princeton upset Arizona, number 15 seed, going to the Sweet 16. Number 15 seed in the Sweet 16 for the third straight year, actually. So,
yeah.
So many upsets.
Yeah, absolutely. The team I'm picking, looking at the final 16 teams left, a team I was very scared about coming into the tournament, a team that KU played 3 times throughout the season. I'm picking Texas as the national champion, coming in as a 2 seed. They have a very veteran-laden team. Serge-Ibaka Rice coming off the bench, Timmy Allen, Marcus Carr, Tyrese Hunter, who they picked up in the offseason. Dylan DeSua's their big. They're a very mobile team, a team that can shoot lights out, a team defensively that I think has that tenacity, that can be a tournament team. They remind me a lot of KU's team last year. I mean, a very, very veteran-laden team, a 6-man that could beat anybody just off the dribble. And I see Remy Martin having some Serge-Ibaka Rice in them or with each other there. And they're doing a really good job. They have a ton of momentum, and that's my team that I'm picking going all the way.
Yeah, so for my team, I'm going to say what Jordan said early in the show. I'm going to go with the UConn Huskies. I mean, the way you need to win in March, you've got to have a good big and you got to have a good guard. The Huskies have both of those. They have Sonogo, and through his first 2 games in the tournament, he's been averaging 26 points. I mean, that's a lot for a college basketball game. And then they got Jordan Hawkins running the 1. He's a great point guard. He's been finding Sonogo down in the deep, but he's also been scoring the basketball. He's just been creating a lot of space for the Huskies.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up here, what is one team that has been a surprise to you that you think could make some noise, make some damage down the stretch here, maybe an Elite 8 appearance, God forbid a Final 4 appearance? What is a team that you see that can make that run?
I mean, I'm probably going to have to go with the Michigan State Spartans because, I mean, they got Izzo. I mean, he's a great coach in March. But, I mean, the way this tournament is laying out, the region that they're in, I think it's the East. Is that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the East. I mean, that region is wide open. I mean, you got FAU and Tennessee above them. And if they can get past K-State, I think that they can go to the Final Four. And, you know, you never know what's going to happen in the Final Four. I think they can get to the championship even.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I think as much fun as it would be to say Princeton, I don't think that's realistic. I'm going to actually go with the same region, Florida Atlantic. They shot lights out against FDU. Obviously, FDU is a 16 seed, but they were able to beat the number 1 seed Purdue. Boilermakers there. So that's my pick. I think they're lengthy. I think they can shoot lights out. I think it'd be a fun team to have in the Final Four. The Owls merch with the other 3 teams I think would be really fun. And they're kind of a little bit of a trendy, fun pick to have right in there as well. So lots to have happen here. We still have 2 number 1 seeds left. I think there's a lot to go forward here, and I think it'll be a really exciting final 2 weeks of the NCAA March Madness season.
Yeah, for sure. That East region is definitely wide open. Well, that's all we're going to have for you. The girls will be back after this break with sports and news.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back. I'm Katie.
And I'm Emily. This is your Tuesday Good Evening KU News Update. Chinese leader Xi Jinping met with Russia's Vladimir Putin for the 2nd day of a 3-day trip. It's a show of support for Moscow after a war crimes arrest warrant was issued for the Russian president last week. The White House has accused Xi of providing a diplomatic cover for Putin and is concerned with how this visit might affect the war in Ukraine.
Schools in Los Angeles will be closed for the rest of the week after employees went on a strike for a 30% pay increase. More than 400,000 students will be affected by the strike that represented 30,000 support workers. The local union says many employees may make little more than minimum wage and are struggling to afford the Southern California cost of living.
17-year-old Derek Del Reed has been charged with first-degree murder in Douglas County after a shooting in which a 14-year-old Lawrence boy was killed. Police believe the shooting occurred on Saturday evening in the 1300 block of Maple Lane in East Lawrence. Reed was scheduled for a detention hearing this afternoon, which will help determine if he will be charged as a juvenile or an adult.
And in local sports, the KU women's basketball team advanced in the WNIT tournament with a 75-47 victory over Missouri last night in Allen Fieldhouse. All 5 starters scored in double figures for the Jayhawks, who will host Nebraska on Thursday. Tip-off is at 6:30 p.m. in Allen Fieldhouse.
The softball team raised its record to 17-11 overall with spring break victories over Tulsa, Nebraska, and Kansas City. Senior outfielder Shayna Espy leads the team with a .317 batting average. The Jayhawks are playing Wichita State tonight in Wichita, and you can see that game on ESPN+.
The baseball team is currently 8-10 overall after a rough spring break trip to South Carolina. The Jayhawks will look to tomorrow night's border rivalry in Missouri as an opportunity to start a new winning streak. The game will be held at Kauffman Stadium with first pitch scheduled for 6 p.m.
Former KU soccer player Rylan Childers signed a professional contract this week with the KC Current. Childers was the 4th-round pick in the NWSL draft and the 42nd pick overall. The soccer season begins on March 25th.
And that's it for our sports and news update. After the break, Ashton will be here with the weather.
Walking alone in a college town can be dangerous, no matter the time of day. Lawrence might seem like a small town, but there is still tons of crime that happens. You never know where and or when people are planning to attack, so it is better to be safe than sorry. Being by yourself is never the answer. That's why people should always walk within a buddy system. Having at least 3 people to walk with can help with getting home safer. Going out in a bigger group is definitely the way to go, so everyone can be assured they are safe. If walking home isn't an option, calling KU Safe Ride is the next best option, or ordering an Uber with your friends. Stay safe and always keep a buddy with you.
Good evening, KU. Welcome back from spring break. Let's take a look at what's coming up for this week. So yesterday was the first day of spring, and coming up this week we have multiple chances of rain with a few temperatures above average looking for Wednesday. So this is our camera outside right now. It's some overcast right now. If you're out there, it's probably pretty misty and foggy. These are our temperatures across the board currently. We're at 46 here in Lawrence, 42 up north a little bit, but we're gonna stay right here in this 40 range pretty much all night. So if you're out, it might be good to grab a jacket while you're out. It is going to be a little windy later into the night, early morning. There will be some chances of rain, but that'll be much later, probably around 2, 3 a.m. This is our satellite radar right now with some overcasts, some clouds. They're going to be moving out here shortly. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to be in the 70s. So we're going to be way above average for springtime. We're going to have just some early morning showers, and then it's going to be cloudy and foggy for the rest of the day. So let's break down our weather hour by hour. We have in the morning when you're heading out the door, it's going to be in the 50s, but then very quickly it'll go up into the 60s, even 70, 72 by 3 o'clock. And then on your evening commute home, it's going to be still 70 degrees. It will be pretty breezy out there, wind gust up to 20 miles per hour in some locations. So this is our extended forecast for the week. We have Wednesday in the 70s. We're going to drop back down into the 50s here on Thursday, and then we're going to stay pretty consistent with the average across the board. We're going to have 70 here on Saturday. There will be some chance of rain, 60% chance of rain on Sunday. Monday will still be cloudy, and then Tuesday we're back to mostly sunny. So up and down with the weather for the next couple days, but tune in next week for Good Evening KU. Thank you.